Extinction, more like it stinks. Shin, that doesn't quite work. Unless your name is Shin, in which case, nailed it. Extinction is directed by Ben Young and is the latest Netflix movie to be released on the streaming site. Technically, you can't really call this a Netflix original movie, given that it was originally owned by Universal. However, they sold it to Netflix when they decided that this film wasn't going to get a theatre release. Smart move, Universal. We'll talk about that more in a little bit, but before I begin this review, in case you missed it in the title, this is a spoiler review. There will be spoilers. The film begins with Peter, played by Michael Peña, living a pretty ordinary life. He's married, he has children, he's got a job as a technician of sorts, I guess. Nothing out of the ordinary there. However, he has been having these reoccurring dreams where the earth gets invaded and civilization gets destroyed. Peter doesn't want to see a doctor about this problem, which is a bit of a weird character choice. At one point he has these visions at work and subsequently passes out for a couple of hours, and even so his wife Alice, played by Lizzy Caplan, is like, oh, those pesky dreams. Alice even says something to the tune of, don't you let those dreams get in the way of our dinner party tonight. Seriously, guys? If that was me, 100% I'd be like, so I have a brain tumor? So I definitely have a brain tumour. But there isn't much time for Peter to be concerned about what these visions mean or his potential brain tumour, because 10 minutes later the visions come true and aliens invade the earth and start destroying everything. It happens so quickly, and because it happens so quickly there's very little time for any kind of character development. We know that Peter and Alice are parents, we have a basic understanding of what they both do for work, and that's about the extent of it. Unfortunately, the performances don't add any depth to these characters either. Lizzy Caplan's doing the best that she can with the material that she's got to work with. However, Michael Peña's performance might be one of the worst things in this film. He is very underwhelming and really flat with his delivery. And I'm a fan of his. I love him in the Ant-Man films. I think he's great in comedic roles, but he does also have a good serious side, like when he was in End of Watch, for example. But here, I don't think that he was cast right. Having said that, I don't think different casting would have actually saved this film anyway, because it's got much bigger problems than its lackluster leads. So the aliens invade, they're in full kill mode, taking out every single thing that they can see. Peter does his best to fight back and protect his family. However, Alice gets caught in the crossfire and ends up being quite badly injured. Peter decides that his best course of action is to head to the factory where he works, I think that's where he ends up going. And en route they capture one of the aliens, who as it turns out is not an alien, but a human in a weird suit. What? Alice isn't looking so good. She's likely going to die unless she receives some medical care, which they just don't have at the factory. Human, however, says that he can help, and because Peter is pretty out of options, he agrees. Human proceeds to open up Alice's wound, but instead of there being flesh and blood and gross things on the inside, there are electrical currents and wires and like mechanical things. Double what? So the aliens were actually humans and the humans were actually androids. Very cool concept, very poorly executed. We'll talk about it. Human explains that decades or maybe even centuries earlier they had created these androids to be slaves. However, the androids started to have real emotions and feel things, and so humankind decided it would be best to destroy them all. Bit of a Blade Runner situation, really. The androids fought back, however, and won, which resulted in the Earthlings being transported to Mars to reside there, and the androids inhabiting Earth. Although they won their freedom, the androids were heartbroken at what cost, and so decided to wipe their memories so that they wouldn't have to remember. Only a select few kept their memories intact, so they would know what was happening should humans ever come back and try and reclaim their planet. Again, this is a really cool premise. I actually do like this a lot. I just have problems with the way that it's delivered. Firstly, there is next to no time spent developing the android characters or helping the audience connect to their struggles. If they'd taken some more time with the character development and even the world around them, then I think this revelation would have had a much bigger impact. A way that this could have been solved, other than not introducing the action 15 minutes into this movie, would be to have had Peter have these visions of him and Alice being mistreated by the humans, included in the dream sequences. They do show a scene like this briefly later on, however if they'd incorporated it into the dream sequences instead, when it's revealed that these are actually memories, it might have helped the audience better connect to the struggles these androids had incurred previously. The second thing that doesn't really work for me is the human's decision to help Peter and his family. So Human explains that he is a second generation Mars baby, his grandfather was an OG Earthling, and he has learned everything that there is to know about the androids, which is how he knows how to save Alice's life. And when Peter asks Human why he's helping his family, Human says it's because when he arrived on Earth, he wasn't aware he was going to have to take out families and kill children. This doesn't make a lot of sense. So Human is second generation Mars baby. He would likely have learned about the war between humans and androids in history class at school, and I'm sure when he joined the military they told him what he'd be up against. Like, you can't have thought it was just a world full of adult AI, right? I also had some issues with the design choices. So this is set in a future version of Earth, and it looks basically the same as Earth does now. There's nothing overly sci-fi about the appearance. What I did find a little bizarre is that Alice is dressed in like 1970s type clothes. The apartment where they live is futuristic-ish looking, but has quite a lot of 70s decor. But then there's also a character who is in a 1960s style outfit with a very 1960s hairdo, but nobody else really seems to be from that era. It's like they wanted to get this kind of Fallout feel where they've got, that's Fallout the game, not Fallout the Mission Impossible movie, where they've got these 1960s, 1970s stylings in a futuristic world. However, in this movie, they kind of just gave up after 2 characters and a room. Initially, I liked the look of the aliens until I found out that the aliens are actually humans in alien suits. They have these bright yellow kind of glass bubbles all over their backs. Don't know what those were for. The suit around the bubbles has this black kind of textured look about it. It almost looks like tar or veins. Again, this makes sense when you think that they're aliens because it kind of looks like skin. However, when you learn that they're actually suits, what is that fabric? Even worse than the mysterious Mars fabric is the noise that these aliens make. So before we realize that they're humans, they make this kind of ticking animalistic noise. If that's not alien language, what on earth was that noise? I was a bit disappointed with this movie, if I'm going to be honest. I've been expecting an Annihilation level of sci-fi goodness, and instead what we got was a unmemorable human invasion story with flat performances, weird pacing, and an underutilized premise. I'm going to give Extinction a 4.5 out of 10. That's it from me today, guys. What did you think of Extinction? Pop your comments in the comment section below. Thank you as always for watching. I will see you here for the next one. Caw-caw!